Welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show. I'm your guest host, the honest Abe Lincoln. Assassination. It happens to the best of us, and the worst of us too, as it turns out. Regardless, we must never celebrate nor reciprocate political violence. Now I hear that some of Charlie's fans actually want a civil war. You sure about that? That's what you want? You thought that through now, did ya? Because let me tell you, the Civil War was no fun. I didn't care for it. It stunk. But it was necessary. Because back then, the Confederacy thought it was okay to own another human being. Now, personally, I felt that this kind of went against the whole all men are created equal proposition that this country was founded on how many years ago now? 12 scores and 9 years ago. Anywho, we had to end slavery so that America might live up to its own promise. Union soldiers fought for the liberty of other people. All people. So why do you want to fight? Because you're mad? At who? The left? You think the entire left murdered Charlie? Because it seems like it was one terminally online edgelord to me.
A third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
You can't go to war just because you're angry. You have to have an end game, a vision, something you're fighting for. So ask yourself, are you fighting for the liberation of all people or for the elimination of the people you don't like? If it's the latter, I'm afraid your fight is in direct opposition to the very premise of America. I'm not making this up. The Founding Fathers did. I just believed in it and was willing to die for it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the sound effects booth, we have John Wilkes Booth for some reason.
Hello. Hello, hi.
You stay behind that glass, you toad. Where was I? Oh, right. Our shared principles are what unite these United States. We may argue and hate each other's football teams, but at the end of the day, we are united by our belief that every last human being has the unalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? That's kind of our whole thing, yeah? Football's awesome, by the way. Good job coming up with the sports. So if you agree on the life and the liberty and the pursuit of happiness, then why the anger? Why the division? Why do you hate each other so much when you're on the same team? I think the division is by design. Because, well, you're busy arguing about who can poop in which toilet. The richest people in the world are eating your lunch. They're building weapons with your tax dollars and selling them to war criminals. They're polluting your environment and lying to you about it. They're making your health care worse and more expensive. They're building AI technology to spy on you and steal your livelihoods. These are your problems. This is your reality. They sell you on a reality where immigrants are the problem. Transgenders are the problem. Democrats are the problem. To be fair, Democrats are a problem, but it's because they also take special interest money, not because they're devil-worshipping communists who bathe in baby blood, as Fox News would have you believe. Do you really think that half of America is evil? Because it seems like most of you get along okay in public and at work and at the grocery store. Grocery stores, by the way, incredible. I had Doritos for breakfast. So who's selling you this false reality? Who's feeding you this poison? I'll tell you who. The media, your algorithms, and partisan grifters like Charlie Kirk. Charlie was not a champion of free speech. He put teachers on watch lists for saying things he didn't like. He wasn't a debater. He was a content creator. He made a living talking down to teenagers, never listening, never curious, always certain, and working his way back to the same tired talking points. He believed that his own warped brand of Christianity made him uniquely American, and that people who believed differently were un-American.
The enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom.
And he claimed all this in America, a country founded on the freedom of religion. I mean, what? Come on now. It's too stupid.
The one issue I think that is so against our senses, so against the natural law, and dare I say, a throbbing middle finger to God, is the transgender thing happening in America right now.
Who's throbbing a what now? Charlie was a bigot in a youth pastor's clothing. He hated trans people without ever making the slightest effort to understand them, and he demonized their doctors too.
We need to have a Nuremberg-style trial for every gender-affirming clinic doctor.
Old hat for a pro-lifer like Charlie, who was too dim to realize that hating trans people was just another thing he had in common with the Third Reich.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson, they're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot.
And of course, he was an unapologetic racist like John Wilkes Booth in the booth. Go to hell, John. I mean, seriously, how are you not there already?
I don't know.
So how do we fix this? What do we do? Well, we ask ourselves, what would Charlie Kirk not do? And then we do that. WWCKND. I put it on a bracelet if that helps. Charlie would be sowing division. Like the president, he would have blamed this on the left before a suspect was even in custody. Charlie would never acknowledge political violence in his own party. He'd never mention Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman, or her husband, or her dog, who were all assassinated by a MAGA man a few months ago. But Charlie would make it seem like political violence was unique to the left. He'd make it a partisan issue, which would only lead to more political violence. So let's not do that, okay? Charlie would be pushing the false narrative that transgenders are disproportionately more violent than other people, knowing full well that this is not true. There is hard data on this, and it shows that trans people are disproportionately the victims of violence. But Charlie would have repeated these partisan lies along with everybody else, endangering an already marginalized group of people even more. That doesn't sound very Christ-like to me, but you know that's what Charlie would be doing. So again, let's not do that, because if we're all created equal, that means trans people too, right? Or has the definition of all changed since my night out at the theater? Really? Screw you, John.
Oh, gotcha.
My point is, when you endanger the rights of anyone, you endanger the rights of everyone, including yourself. You can't parse who is or isn't entitled to life or liberty or the pursuit of happiness in America, or the whole damn experiment falls apart. Union soldiers understood this principle, and they defended it with their lives because that's what actual patriots do. They don't just buy a big flag and a Punisher t-shirt and call it a day. They pay attention, they speak up, and they show up to keep America in line with its ideals. So America, if you want a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, we're going to need some more patriots who think critically, who stand up for the rights of everybody, who put our shared principles before their party. Charlie Kirk was no such patriot. He should not have been murdered, but he should not be made a martyr either. So no, I do not mourn Charlie Kirk. I mourn the man that he was, the hate that he spread, and the mess he left behind. And now a word from our friends at MeUndies.